Why did the frog cross the road? He didn't.
Hello everyone, I'm Joshua, the Media Alchemist. I do Let's Plays that are borderline reviews and talk about general media I enjoy or want to dive into. Today I begin my journey of playing every single Frogger game I can get my hands on. Yes, I'm serious. I'm gonna try to play all of them.
My whole life has changed since the award-winning Frogger home video game became so popular. Frankly, I'm swamped by admirers, so to get away from it all, I reach for Frogger. It's a challenge, Ribbit, because the better you are, Ribbit, the harder Frogger is to play. Oops.
Ladies first.
Do they love me or my Frogger?
Frogger, Sega's arcade game, now a home video game from Parker Brothers, the ones to beat.
I tried to upscale a lot of these old commercials, but they just look worse. Ah, Frogger. I'm not entirely new to the series. Back in the day, I used to own Temple of the Frog, which I've never beat as a kid. And then I owned Forgotten Relic, which I remember it being very good. I beat it multiple times as a kid. Now the first game we're gonna be playing is gonna be the original Frogger for the arcade. The actual first version of this game I got my hands into was the Atari 2600 version, but then I learned that the OG arcade version was on the Nintendo eShop. So let's show that one first. Frogger was developed by Konami and published by Sega way back in 1981. That's 44 years ago from now. That is one old frog.
It's okay, kids. Just pick a corner for me to pass away in. That one'll do.
Apparently the original name was gonna be something around the lines of Highway Crossing Frog, but Sega was like, nah, that's no good, and gave the name Frogger. Good call, Sega. The game consists of taking 5 different frogs across the street, and then over the other side of the river. The cars move in a bunch of different directions and speeds, so timing is very important. We got some logs and turtles that occasionally sink, so you can't step on top of them for long. You also have a 60-second time limit. When that bar down right runs out, you lose a frog marked by an X. The controls are pretty simple, not a lot to do with a stick and a single button after all. You move and hop around the same distance every time, and that's it. You see, this is back then when games used to be actually cool. Once in a while you will run into, according to the manual, a lady frog. I thought this was a power-up at first, and I didn't know how to use it. But no, she's a lady frog. Pick her up and carry her to the end without losing a life, and you get bonus points. After some progress, some of the cars at the 4th row will move stupidly fast. These are called racer cars. You gotta time your hops right just to avoid them. On top of that, there will be alligators. I was avoiding them like the plague, but as it turns out, you can stand on top of them, as long as you don't get near their mouth when it's open. The game also has snakes, some of the frog's worst enemies. You'll be safe as long as you don't go anywhere near their mouths, similar to the alligators. The others can also hurt you, if you are at the edge of a log when they touch it. When it comes to reaching the home bay, you gotta watch out for alligator heads. If they surface, you'll fall right into its mouth. There is also this fly. You can get it at the end and it gives you some bonus points. It wasn't on the manual as a pickup for some reason. I thought getting them was the only way to progress, so I was making the game infinitely more difficult for myself. I did see the fly on the points table, giving you 200 points like the lady frog. There seems to be a multiplayer mode, but I didn't get to try it. It's basically a mode where both players take turns to play. Oh, these cars move insanely fast. Holy frogs. The Atari 2600 version has the worst of these race cars. This is Bullfrog. Then suddenly it becomes easier? What the heck? Make up your mind, game. Apparently the way the game works is that it gets progressively more difficult, then it eases down, and then it dials the difficulty up again. Pretty interesting. The 2600 version of Frogger was programmed by John Harris, who was apparently a very popular programmer at the time. Someone in my audience gonna know who that is. Or maybe not.
This is the new Frogger home video game, Ribbit. It's just like the arcade game, very lifelike, Ribbit. See, you have to hop Frogger past these cars and trucks. Missed, Ribbit. Past the snakes, onto the logs, oh, and the alligators in the river, Ribbit, and back home to his lily pad. Whew, Frogger is absolutely riveting. The new Frogger home video game. Bring it back to your pad.
Sega's arcade game, now a home video game from Parker Brothers, the ones to beat.
Finding the developers of this game is a bit of a nightmare. For what I could find, Konami didn't credit any of the creators, which was a common practice at the time. It is widely believed that the creator is someone by the name of Akira Hashimoto, who while on a drive, found a frog trying to cross the road and got inspired by it, pitching the idea to Konami. The other story is that the real creator is Takahide Harima, who worked as a programmer and in sound design. There was also Takeshi Hara as director, Keiichi Miyoshi as programmer, and 3 more sound designers, being Hirakosu Fujinaka, Masahiro Inoue, and Shigeru Fukutake. Because they were uncredited, I actually don't know what's the truth, or where the Akira Hashimoto story came from. I guess they must have leaped to conclusions. We know this information because a man by the name of Masahiro Inoue, who worked on sound design as previously stated, said that there was no such person on the team named Akira Hashimoto. Why? I have no idea, it's like some weird conspiracy. Back then they didn't credit the developers to prevent other companies from going on a headhunt after their employees, perhaps offering better deals or stealing ideas and concepts. I learned about Masahiro Inoue from an interview for Time Extension, written by Jack Jarwood. They interview him and 2 others. They have quite some interesting stories to tell about their work on Konami, so if you're into retro gaming, the links are on the description below. I have never heard of Time Extension before this, but for what I've read so far, they seem to know what they're doing, and focus on retro gaming, I think. I'll keep them on my radar. Anyways, I tried my best to find a source for the Akira story, and nothing. Places just use each other as references, and it goes on an endless loop. Who spread this? If anyone knows the source, please write it down in the comment section, I really want to know.
Say, has you heard the news? Yeah,
I want to tell him. I want to tell him.
Gentlemen, the news is riveting. Riveting. Absolutely riveting.
What the boys are trying to say is that Parker Brothers Popeye, Cubert, and Frogger are not only available for the Atari 2600, but for the Commodore 64 home computer, Atari 5200, and ColecoVision. About as close to real arcade graphics and action as you can get.
One thing I hate sets a push-the announcer. Popeye, Hubert, and Frogger. Also for all Commodore, Atari systems, and TI. Now's your nose.
After a while of playing the Atari 2600 version, I decided to try the 5200 version. It's definitely more colorful, look at those graphics, whoa, graphics will never look better than this. The game for the most part is the same, but because the graphics are bigger, they remove a whole row of cars. I guess they just didn't fit in the screen. Snakes and alligators appear a lot earlier, and you can no longer survive going off screen, which sucks. That was one of the things the 2600 version had over the arcade original. That helped me a lot when I needed to reach tricky areas. If I had to pick my favorite version out of the 3 though, the arcade one wins. It feels the most balanced and is the best looking one, obviously. I even played it on Ariel Arcade, IRL. It was just a coincidence that I ran into the cabinet. I thought it would be funny to include it.
Looks like a frog. So do you.
Something interesting is the way the publication itself went. The game had done well in Japan, but Gremlin, the overseas publisher, was not convinced. Probably because back in 1978, they published a game called Frogs and it failed. They even said that a frog game would only attract kids and women. We all know that gaming is for men. And if you think that's not bad enough, the person pitching the idea was a woman by the name of Elizabeth Faulkner. They were ready to reject the game till the woman was like, "Is this how you rejected Pac-Man?" And they decided to place a cabinet in a bar in California called Spanky's Saloon. The game became a massive success. I'm sure Elizabeth must have been celebrating like,
Ha! Suck my dick!
The game also got popular for having the most ways to die at the time. Let me read this article from Softline Magazine 1982. If you jump into the water, you die. If you jump into a crocodile's open mouth, you die. If you are riding on the back of a turtle who decides to take a dive, you die. If you sail to the end of the screen, you die. If you approach the safety of your home, you must jump exactly into it, or you die. Periodically, a crocodile will invade your home, and if you jump while it's there, you die. By the way, you must make it home before you run out of time. Or guess what? You die.
Okay. Enough death already. Sheesh. I'm beginning to think you guys are obsessed.
The music of the original arcade Frogger was quite interesting. It seems to have been straight out taken out of nursery rhymes and anime soundtracks. For example, the main theme melody, it's taken from the nursery rhyme Doggy Policeman or Inoue no Omawarisan. This other theme was taken from Yankee Doodle.
Yankee Doodle came to town a-riding on a pony, stuck a feather in his cap and called it macaroni.
They also had Adelitas or Soldaderas, a pro-Mexican revolution song about women who participated in the war. I wonder if the developers knew about the historical baggage of this song, or if they just heard the melody and thought, yeah, let's put that in our funny frog game. They also took parts of anime openings like Little Rascal Raccoon, Hanako Lung Lung, King Arthur Season 2, Thank you to GeoCat and Claudio Directo on the Frogger OST's comment section. Whoever you are, I'm giving you a like. You are a national treasure. Because of these songs, some versions and ports have changed the music to avoid copyright issues. There are a bunch of versions of the first Frogger. After trying the OG for the arcade and the Arcade Archives version, Atari 2600 and 5200 versions, I tried the MSX version, that's an old PC, and that's all I can tell you about that. This version plays very well. Like the Atari 5200, it only has 4 rows. The speed feels more balanced than the 2600. The graphics are better, but not as good as the arcade or even the 5200 in my opinion. Honestly, it would be a worthy version if it wasn't for the fact that yeah, it has no music. There are, to my memory, 3 melodies, one for starting, one for beating a level, and one for the game over. That's it. Yeah, it kinda takes out of the charm, sorry. Love the box art though, look at that tree. I'm making that my profile picture. Then we got the TRS-80 version, there is the version 1, which is just white, the version 2, which is green. These two divide the street and the rubber sections into 2 separate screens, that's interesting. Then we got the Coco version, which makes my eyes bleed. The sound effects also suck, my god. This bug's hard. I gotta love how Frogger looks like an office employee late for work. Then we got the Timex Sinclair versions. The 1K is black and white. The sprites flicker a bit, but it looks alright. Then we got the 2068 version, which looks terrible. It's not Coco levels of saturated mess, but still. These colors are too much. Let's see, we got the ColecoVision version. Oh, it has music! Graphically, it looks fine. We follow with the Magnavox REC2 version. For the limitations of the machine, this looks pretty good. They also decided to divide the screen into two sections, and things look farther apart. Then we got the Atari 8-bit computer version. This one looks pretty good, but again, no music. We got the TI-99 computer version, a lot more colorful, no music again, and also just 3 roads. Congrats TI-99, you broke the record for the least roads of all Frogger versions. We got the Big 20 computer version. I'm getting tired. God, this game got ported so many times. Good graphics for the system. Again, say it with me. No music. We move on to the Commodore 64 version, and is that music? I mean, it sounds kinda terrible, but at this point, I'll take it. And I think that's it. I couldn't play any of these last ones, so apart from the visuals, I don't have any game feel comments. I have a link to a YouTube channel called Retromantra that has back-to-back gameplay on what I assume to be all the versions, if you are interested. I will also have to thank Retromantra too. If it wasn't for this video, I wouldn't have even known there was a cancelled Sega Game Gear Frogger game developed by S-Plan, and that the unfinished ROM was just circling on the internet. I got my hands on it and god, this. Why did this get cancelled? It's such a great game. Is that a tank? This feels more like a whole new game, honestly. Instead of bringing 5 frogs to the end, you rescue 3 frogs, place around the map, and then bring them back home. It feels like a puzzle game sometimes, timing your jump and finding the best route back. There are even new elements like these, jaguars? Hippos? I don't know. We got trains, tanks for some reason, goose. Then we got this Abominations of Nature. What the frog? The game no longer has a time limit, so thinking carefully about the path you'll take takes emphasis. I like that. It is a shame the game was never officially published. Might as well be a sequel for how different it is. Honestly, this was a pretty fun journey. I'm surprised at the amount of things I had to say, considering it's such a simple game with no story whatsoever. But after learning all these little facts and playing the Arena Arcade for the first time, I gotta say I feel like more of a Frogger fan. It's definitely a classic for a reason. Give the Arena Arcade version a shot if you ever get the chance. Not sure what the next Frogger game on the list is, since I'm going in blind, but if you'd like to hop on this adventure with me, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Thank you for watching this far, and I'll see you all next time. Take care, Ribbit.